Lesbros, great name.
Another gold game. It's only been bronze
and
golds.
golds all day, every day.
And more ZVZ. Holy shit.
Zerg is taking... Well, you know, you switch to races now. Everybody's getting interested in Zerg, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, that's the reason.
Oh, yeah.
That's the reason for the season of Mr. MaximusBlack. And you know what else I need you to do for me right
What's
now?
that?
I need you to hit me up with the sound of Lesbros. More specifically, you need to hit me up with some Christmas Lesbros.
Some Christmas lesbos. Hey, bro. You want to go and play some softball?
What? What? Softball? What? What the fuck?
Okay.
Alright.
Oh, shit.
Try that one more
No,
time.
I'm not fucking trying it ever again. That's all you get.
Hey, bro, you want to go play some softball?
Okay.
What?
Shut up. Starting up here in the top right position, we have Exand.
Oh my god.
Exand. And down bottom left, we have Lesbros.
Oh, dear god, that's bad.
Okay.
Okay, well, ZVZ here on
Fucking
something.
derelict watcher or some shit.
Derelict my balls.
All right. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. We got a fast pool and gas here, so it looks like we're just gonna see a bunch of 3-6 lings go down. He's gonna build those. He's gonna pull once he gets 100 gas. I don't know if he's gonna pull all 3 drones, put them back on minerals,
He
or
just
two of
pulled
them.
1 for the hell of it there, so he's only down to 2 on gas.
I take it he was probably just gonna go. Oh, he's gonna go for quick Baneling. What the fuck build is this?
Don't question it.
Just go with it.
Just go with it.
Okay. Cool.
He has a serious hate on for those Lesbros that play softball during Christmas.
Hate on them. Serious hate.
Lesbros.
Is this guy's name Exand?
I
Or
would go
Sand?
with Zand.
Zand. All
Yeah,
right,
like
cool.
xylophone,
All right.
but Zand instead.
The X sounds like a Z.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
fucking
Because English.
Yeah.
That's exactly why.
Exactly.
It's funny when I've been speaking English now for 26 years,
I've been trying to speak English for 26
and I still
years.
don't fully understand the language.
Yeah.
Not even close. I say about 80% of it I understand.
It was really funny. We were on TeamSpeak, all the boys and everything, and we were showing each other like our universities and stuff on Google Maps and whatever. And then Major showed us, you know, Major's in fucking Holland, and you see like everything's in Dutch, right? Like all the street names, everything in Dutch, and there's some like there's straight up like fucking 26 letter long names.
For streets?
That are just like that it looks like a drunk person tried to like text you at 4 in the morning,
Oh,
and
God.
it didn't autocorrect, and that's what it looks like. And I'm like, and we're all like Eos and Brian and I and a couple other guys just sitting here just trying to read these fucking words, and Major's like, it's just this, and it just sounded like somebody was gargling testicles. It actually just sounded like somebody put dick in the mouth and just was like, oh yeah, that's come on on the street.
Great.
And I was like, oh yeah, what does that mean? He was like, I don't know, butterflies. Like it was
Wow.
it was quite spectacular. So English has got some really messed up rules. I don't even, I mean, honestly, a conversation in Dutch must take like 4 years.
You know what?
Some of the words have like 16 syllables.
You know what I was gonna say, ask you is
Yes.
like the Chinese language, right? It has like
Mandarin.
10,000 characters or some shit, right?
Yeah, Mandarin and Cantonese, yeah. It was 50,000.
50,000 or some shit. Yeah. When they're typing on keyboard, because I was at the mall the other day and I saw someone working, and they're typing in what I thought would be Chinese. How does
Could have been.
How does that work? Do they like
All of it, so whether it's
have to put in
Mandarin or Japanese or Korean or whatever, I'm pretty sure it all works on the same concept where each key has like a stroke. And I don't mean like they suddenly like have a saggy mouth and then they can't eat properly for the rest of their lives.
Yeah,
but like you know they have like it's a certain stroke of the character, and then you do like combination of keys will make up a block, because in Asian languages each character is a block.
So does it just take a really long time to type shit out at that point?
No, you can go pretty quick.
Really?
Because like each character, especially in like Mandarin, each character, the reason why there's so many characters is because in Mandarin each character has like
It's like a word,
like
right?
a one-off meaning most
Yeah.
of the time. There's not a lot, to my understanding, from what I remember from taking classes and stuff in university, that there's not a lot of characters that mean
You know,
a
just
great
like
deal of things. They're
Yeah.
pretty specific.
Okay.
In like the everyday
Now what?
words that they use, there are double meaning stuff, but it's there's a lot of.
Now what about like writing an essay in university? Like how long would it take to draw out that shit?
By hand?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. I mean, it's just like writing in English, right? For us.
Yeah, but like you'd have
They
to
go
learn
pretty quick.
so many different.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't. It takes a long time. But I
Like-
mean, like I said, like the to do everyday speech in Mandarin, I think you can get away with to just go over there and be able to hack your way through like being a tourist, like a little bit more than a tourist.
Yeah.
It's like around 500 to 1,000.
Okay. Well, that's not. That
And
bad.
then to this is what my Mandarin,
Friend.
Chinese culture professor who's from China herself said as a gauge, about 500 to 1,000 to get around and do okay, and then everyday speech, everyday language there is around 10,000 characters.
Isn't it supposed to be like the Mandarin's like the easiest language to learn?
No, it's like the most difficult language to learn.
Really? I thought it was the hardest.
Korean-
I thought it was the hardest language to learn how to write, but the easiest to learn how to speak.
Not even close.
Really?
Mandarin has a lot of sounds that don't exist in English that are very difficult. It's weird. Your tongue is a muscle, right? And it's got muscle memory, and so a lot of those sounds and how the mouth is used to speak Mandarin,
I wonder
palate
what-
and everything else. It's there's lots that are
I
totally
wonder
different.
what the easiest languages are to learn.
Korean is the easiest to learn how to read and write.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Korean.
Yeah, Korean's the easiest to learn how to read and write. Hangul takes like I learned the alphabet, most of the alphabet within the span of like an hour and a half
Oh wow, it's pretty easy.
to read and write it.
Yeah.
But obviously grammar and stuff's a totally different ballgame and whatnot. But it's a really simple and honest to God, like if we had if there was a language that was as easy to learn how to read and write as Korean, and as flexible and as
like the mass people
adaptable as English,
yeah.
then perfect language.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really exist,
Nope.
unfortunately. But yeah, Korean is the easiest. Mandarin is difficult to speak and write because there's way more characters to learn. They're much more complex characters than the other Asian languages of Japanese and Korean. And yeah.
All right, question for the audience. How many languages do you know? And what was the easiest language for you to learn other than your native tongue?
Most of our North American friends are going to probably say English, French, Spanish.
Yeah, well, French and Spanish are very, very similar. There's so many people that know know French that just pretty much pick up
Lots
Spanish.
of people also learn German over here because it's English and German. Germanic still has lots of Germanic. Oh my god.
That was such a waste of all those veins. They did
Oh,
nothing.
this is all. Let's just watch this real
Oh,
quick
wow,
before we.
that is-
All right. Well, that did equally as nothing.
I actually think that Blue's going to be able to get on top here. Yeah.
Wow.
So
He likes it on top.
Yeah, he's okay. So really nothing's still happening in this game. Just roaches.
So yeah, they'll probably go with those. I would say are probably going to end up being the most common, unless you're like born into a family that is something else and you just happen to be living in North America. The Europeans have a breadth of shit, especially if you live in like Northern Europe. You end up learning quite a slew of languages because you're in such close
That's
proximity.
one thing that I've noticed about a lot of Europeans. At
like,
least people on
it's
my
not
stream and
uncommon-
stuff,
it's not
they
uncommon
know
to know
like a lot of
three-
language. Yeah, like
three
three,
or
four
four.
languages.
Yeah.
It's like holy shit,
It's not
dude.
uncommon because for the most part, you can drive from one side of those countries to another within a day
Yeah.
or less.
Yeah.
And they're all in such close proximity to one another.
Now I wonder when you know multiple languages, because I only know English, right?
Yeah.
That's it, right? I feel kind of stupid, but that's all I know, and that's all I really care to learn. I mean, I think Spanish is a sexy language.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind learning how to speak
The
Spanish.
thing about here is that in Canada and stuff, other than French, you have to kind of go out of your way to learn another language.
Yeah, it's-
where in places like Europe, you either do
just
it in school,
you're probably just around
and
it
you're just
all the
around
time.
it.
Yeah.
You just pick it up
on
anyway,
it. Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But I wonder what goes on in the head of people that know multiple languages. Do they translate in their original language to kind of figure it out? Like, 'cause I've always wondered that, because when I was attempting to learn how to speak French and stuff, you know, during school and shit, when I heard a word, it wasn't like, oh, that's what the word means. I would go, oh, this word. Now, what does that mean in English? Okay, now I can register it. So, do those people do, like, if they're having a conversation with someone, are they like in real time translating that in their own head and then trying to think of the Spanish way of saying the English word to say back to them?
It depends on the language. And depends on the person. You can't do that with Korean, for example. You cannot direct translate and try and go back and forth.
It's just totally different.
It doesn't work that
But I
way.
mean, like, from like French or Spanish and stuff.
French and stuff. Some people will think in, like, I know Fathom or even Natalie sometimes, they've told me, you know, they'll randomly think in French out of nowhere, or they'll catch themselves thinking in French or thinking in English and then accidentally speaking French and stuff like that. But that's because you can with enough speed, you can actually do that because the languages aren't so drastically different. But you can't really do that with a lot of other languages, and it will slow your progress of learning the language if you try and do that, because, like, with Korean, for example, everything is incredibly fucking direct and incredibly...
It's just distinct.
Like,
there's only one way of saying it.
Well, no, it's not necessarily that, but everything is, like, very literal. So instead of saying, I'm going to go... Or let's go to your house for dinner. It would be, you know, there's not, you know, take out all the whatever.
There's like a symbol for that.
Like, no, you straight up just say, like, the way it would end up sounding in English is,
dinner at your house, we will.
Like, seriously, like, it'll be like, eat, house, you, and like now or so, like, it's like very basic, and it's almost like in English you have to think about it like they'd almost be talking like cavemen.
Yeah.
Because it's all very specific, and there's no real like use of
I
like
know.
adjectives.
There's no like
and stuff.
grammar type shit like where you're.
Well, it's grammar, but it's not like adjectives.
Yeah, you're not like
to,
adding like apostrophe s and like fucking past tense and stuff. It's just like
there's no flavor text in there to make it sound prettier. It's just like
house, you, food,
now, or instead of I'm hungry. Or, you know, I'm really hungry right now.
Food, mouth.
You're not in a... There's no states. Like, there's no states of being in their language. It's just, like, stomach empty or something like that.
So stupid.
Instead of...
No offense, but it just to me, it sounds kind of like... It's like talking to, like, a baby. It's like...
Well, no, that's what...
Hungry!
No, it's funny that you say that. Because one of the ways that a lot of people, when you're learning Korean or other Asian languages, because they're all very similar in that they're all very specific, like... literal, is that you almost have to think and
like
speak
a child,
like a baby, and then you will pick up the language like that.
You just can't overthink it.
You don't. You can't. That's why, as an English speaker, it's very difficult for us to learn a lot of other languages.
It's like you stub your toe and you're not like, ow, I stubbed my toe. You're just like, hurt.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Like toe pain. Yeah.
Pain. Foot.
You never say I'm in pain. You just, you would like point.
Danger.
It'd be like area of your body and pain, and then that's it.
Foot pain.
You know, no, seriously. Like, that's what it's like.
All right, well, cool. Well, I just learned something in this cast. Hopefully you did too. Like I said in the comments below.
This game had pretty much.
Oh, this was boring. This was just like a roach sitting.
It was kind of like a back and forth until somebody won with more numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me know in the comments below how many languages you speak. And what was the hardest one to learn? And do you translate in your own head while you're listening to somebody? Because I've tried doing that. Like when I visit Montreal and stuff, I pick up on things and I go, okay, well, you know, this means like toilet means toilet. So
conveniently spelled almost as the
identical. But you know what I'm saying, right?
No, I know what you mean.
Like bonjour, right? I go, okay. So I translate it in English and I understand what it means.
Yeah.
Instead of just hearing it and knowing exactly what that means, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, well, that's what you have to do when you're first learning a lot of languages. Right?
Yeah. So anyway,
you have to relate it to something.
Maybe that'll be my New Year's resolution this year is to learn a language. Spanish.
That's probably not going to happen.
I think Spanish is so sexy. It is the sexiest language on the planet.
I've said this forever, and I've promised a lot of my Korean friends I'm eventually going to learn how to speak Korean. And I mean, I've got lots of Korean friends.
You got lots of Korean friends.
So that'll be pretty straightforward for me.
One day.
It's just really funny because
we'll come in here. You'll cast in Korean. I'll cast in Spanish.
In Spanish? Oh god, that'd be ridiculous.
And it'd be really.
Hun always laughs. Hun laughs at me and says Soyeon when they try and get me to like just say random Korean words, and because I'm not using like their inflection, like their voice tones when I say it just they tell me that I just sound like a pedophile.
Great.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is no
white man,
just a white man trying to speak
Korean and pedophile language.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, that's it. We're moving on to the next one.
Peace.